Welcome to the deep dive. I think it's fair to say that every single person listening, we're all on this lifelong quest for something.
This search for happiness.
Yeah, exactly, for happiness, or as the conceptual sources we're diving into today call it, the quest to feel good.
And we're always told it's something you have to earn, right? Like it's a prize at the end of this long, hard road.
You check all the boxes, the career, the relationship, the house, and then maybe you get to be happy.
But what if that whole system is just fundamentally flawed? What if that constant chasing is the very thing that's making us miserable?
That's the paradox we're exploring. Today we're doing a deep dive into some really powerful conceptual writings titled The Architecture of Inner Freedom, Relinquishing the Burden of Desire.
And our title for this deep dive really says it all.
It does. We're calling this Desires, the Silent Killers of Happiness.
Our mission today is to, really unpack this claim from the source material that happiness or feel good isn't a destination at all.
It's our default setting.
It's our default setting. We were basically born peaceful, so we need to figure out exactly how these desires, whether they're ours or ones put on us by other people, how they corrupt that natural state.
And find the clear, actionable steps the text provides for getting that freedom back.
Right.
So let's start there with the anatomy of this silent killer. The text opens with this observation that's just, it's brutally honest.
It really is. It paints this scene that is so relatable. It's almost absurd. It's usually set in a family home.
Okay.
And you have all these people under one roof, and every single one of them is carrying around this invisible sack of just endless desires.
And the source doesn't pull any punches, does it? It calls them unnecessary.
Or even foolish.
Wow. And it gives a really specific example that it hits home because it shows this huge disconnect between our physical reality and our mental state.
It does. Think about this person, maybe someone who is clearly struggling physically. They might be completely ignoring their own health. The source says, maybe they haven't taken a minute for their own body until 10:30 in the morning. Maybe they've already seen 3 doctors about some issue. Their health is clearly suffering.
But where's their focus?
That's the thing. It's not on rest or recovery. It's on a dozen external expectations. Managing the entire house, planning the next celebration, the decorations, the cooking.
So the desire for the appearance of a perfect life is literally overriding the need to just be healthy.
It's a self-imposed tyranny of the trivial. And this kind of self-sabotage, it points to a huge gap in our awareness.
A lack of understanding.
Exactly. The text has this sharp line in Hindi that just nails it. It says, Depan haikanda hai, kana hai kalidokras.
Can you translate that for us?
It basically means it's not fewer desires, but less understanding.
So the problem isn't the impulse itself, it's our lack of insight.
Precisely. We're always trying to fight our desires, right? To suppress them with willpower. But the source says the battle isn't with the desire, it's with our lack of understanding of its real cost.
And that collision, that friction between our wish and reality, that leads us straight to what the text calls the misery formula.
Correct. Misery is manufactured in that clash. When your personal desire clashes with someone else's reality, or even your own reality, that's when suffering is created.
It's not just disappointment, it's actual suffering.
Yeah. The source sums it up perfectly. It says mismatch of desires equals misery of life.
That's memorable. Mismatch of desires equals misery.
If you try to impose a fiction onto reality, you're going to generate friction every single time.
And we see this play out in the most painful ways, often with families, right?
The parent-child dynamic.
Oh, that's the classic example. You have parents who truly love their kids, but they're forcing their own unfulfilled desires onto them.
The child wants to be an artist, maybe.
Right, an artist or a writer. But the parents are forcing their desire for the child to become a doctor, maybe for status or for security.
So who wins in that situation? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. The child suffers because their truth is being denied. The parents suffer because of the conflict, the unhappiness. That one desire created misery for everyone.
It's suffering by imposition, which I think moves us perfectly into the next big idea from the source. This concept of the double burden of expectation.
Yes.
So this distinction feels fundamental. It's like the source is telling us we need to audit the weight we're carrying. It's not just about what I want.
It's about all the baggage you've agreed to carry for others. The source calls this the fact of universe, Desire creates weight, and it shows up in two really damaging forms.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is the internal burden. This is the one we all know. It's that self-generated pressure. Your desires become your anxiety.
If I want a promotion, I worry about getting it. If I get it, I worry about losing it.
Exactly. That anxiety is baked into the chase itself. But the second form, the external burden, that one might be even more corrosive.
Because we don't always consent to it.
We almost never do, not consciously. The text says, others' desires become your burden. And it uses this incredible image. It says, if you're surrounded by people with foolish demands, your mind turns into a dumping yard.
A dumping yard? Wow, that is a visceral image.
It is, isn't it? It's not just that you're busy or inconvenienced. You are literally performing waste management for other people's psychological trash.
And if you agree to carry that trash, you're basically taking on a burden that has nothing to do with your own life or your own truth.
That's it. So the source gives us a really clear, actionable rule here. It says, don't carry desires that are not yours.
So how do we square that? How do you balance refusing to be a dumping yard with, genuine responsibilities like caring for kids or parents?
That's the test of understanding, isn't it? The line is drawn at necessity versus foolishness. Wanting your child to be safe and fed is a necessity.
Right.
Wanting that same child to fulfill your dream of becoming a CEO is a foolish imposition. True responsibility is about meeting needs. The dumping yard happens when you take on their manufactured expectations.
So it's not about becoming cold. It's about setting boundaries to protect your own mental space.
Exactly. You manage your internal anxiety and you refuse the external trash. And this is where we shift from just analyzing the problem to actually fixing it.
Reclaiming our default setting.
Reclaiming inner freedom. The source reminds us of that core insight again and again. Feel good is the default setting.
We don't have to chase peace. We just have to eliminate the noise.
Desires are that noise. They are the constant force that corrupts our natural state. So if we want to get back to that default, the source gives us a kind of training manual.
Okay, what's the training?
It's two distinct actions, and they lead to two very distinct results. First, you relinquish your own desire.
And the result of that is you become lighter. I like that. You shed that internal weight.
You become lighter. And second, and this is the big one for your relationship with the world, you actively relinquish others' desire or expectation.
Now, what's the result there?
You become independent. You become free. The source uses the Sanskrit word swatantra.
Swatantra. That means self-governed. Right. A freedom that has to be claimed internally.
It has to be. It's all about setting those firm boundaries because the text reminds us who we are not.
We are not servants.
You are not a servant. You are not a machine made to fulfill anyone's wish list.
And most importantly, going back to that dumping yard idea.
You are not a carrier of others' expectations. That's the key line. The moment you refuse to carry the burden, you refuse to be a servant. That is freedom.
That natural feel-good state just rushes back in because the corruption's been removed.
Exactly.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Because this isn't just a self-help idea. The source uses huge historical figures to prove that letting go of desire is a sign of profound progress.
It shows that relinquishment isn't a passive act of surrender. It's an active, powerful choice that elevates a person from striving for themselves to contributing to everyone.
Let's start with the big one. Mahatma Buddha, born a prince, had everything he could possibly want. What happened when he dropped all that?
He found peace, a state of deep tranquility, shanti. His personal act of letting go didn't create a void, it created the insight for a global movement.
So his progress came from walking away from what we'd call success.
Right. Now look at the complete opposite. Military power. Samrat Ashoka.
He had it all. The empire, the armies. He achieved the ultimate desire for conquest.
He did. After the Kalinga War, he had total victory. But when he saw the misery his desire had caused, he did something radical. He dropped the desire for conquest itself.
And the progress he achieved through that act of letting go.
He became a compassionate king. He embraced daya and karuna, kindness and compassion. He didn't just stop fighting. He redirected all that imperial power toward welfare and ethics.
His real power was found in letting go.
That illustrates the central idea perfectly. The synthesis line in the source is, desire ends, stress ends. Or, Tanavkatam, the tension is eliminated.
So for us, today, dropping the desire for that corner office doesn't mean failure. It might free you up to do something truly meaningful.
That's the idea.
Which brings us all the way back to the listener. What is the core takeaway here if we want that feel-good state?
We have to accept that inner peace is our natural state. It's not a reward. And our desires, especially the ones others place on us, are the only barrier. The Source calls this peace our real wealth.
And the practical step is about commitment, about setting that boundary.
It has to be a personal commitment to protect your mental space, a final resolution.
And it's a very simple but incredibly profound commitment the source material gives us.
It is. The commitment is, I will not carry anyone's foolish desires.
That's it. That's where freedom begins.
It frees you from being a servant, a machine, a carrier. It's everything.
So, if dropping foolish desires leads to peace, that leaves us with a final provocative thought. We saw Buddha pursue understanding and Ashoka pursue compassion, and those were framed as progress. Does the pursuit of wisdom or compassion itself count as a desire? And if it does, how is it different from the desire for, status or decorations? Is it possible that the only non-foolish desire is the desire to relinquish all the foolish ones?
That is something for you to mull over as you start to think about which burdens you're ready to drop today.